mwenye nguvu kama wewe, Mfalme tena Mungu wa milele. Sijaona mwenye nguvu kama wewe, Mfalme tena Mungu wa milele.
It is a blessed, wonderful, good morning, Wednesday, the 8th of October, 2025, and it gives me so much joy to be coming to you live again from our studios for the Beyond I Do. I believe that wherever it is that you are watching us from, you are able to hear us loud and clear. We really want to apologize that today we came in a bit late because of some technical unavoidable circumstances, but we thank God that we are now coming to you live. Wherever it is you're watching, help us to share this podcast to your viewers and those people that are within the reach of your social media platform. To be a great blessing. In a moment, I'll be inviting our special guest again this morning for our podcast. Stay on board. Once again, thank you so much for taking your precious time to join us this morning. Behind the scenes, you're listening to Mwenye Nguvu. It's a new song that is dropping on our YouTube channel this week, so I want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be releasing that song this week. I believe that it's going to be a great blessing. Let us pray. Good Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you again this morning for the opportunity you've given us to come live on this platform. We ask for wisdom. We ask for the counsel of the Spirit, even as we speak to your precious people, that whatever it is we will be sharing this morning, it will heal a marriage, heal a person, and correct something in the lives of your people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Well, on my extreme right again, it is Pastor Dominic.
Shalom.
And on my immediate left, it is Charity this morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have them again this morning. Last week, we had a very candid conversation on matters of, a marriage, especially in areas of transitioning and the windows of transition. And I believe that you got something last week. It was so powerful that personally I was so blessed. I was reminding you guys that this week I received a feedback from someone calling us. There's someone calling us live on. Is someone calling us? All right. We'll be able to look at some of those feedback, but someone called from Bomet.
All right.
That they are so blessed by the program we had here last week.
Thank God.
And we thank God that someone is getting blessed somewhere. And for that alone, that's why we come here every day. If we can be able to reach one person, yes, then that is still in order. There's something that I wanted us to begin with, and we were talking about the transition, the window of transition. And before we just came live, there was a conversation we were having. The importance of, looking for someone who can help you, a counselor who can be able to help you after the end of a relationship. Of what importance do you think that is, Pastor Dominic? I'll begin with you.
Yeah, that is very key. We are talking about transition, especially when marriage has not worked. And not because you are maybe wrong or the other partner is wrong, but it's maybe it just didn't work out. So It is important for a counselor because it helps you to heal and so that you move out of pain. Because if you live with that pain, it will stop you from, moving on to another level. And if it is continuous and spills over, it can be a problem and make a person be a bitter person in everything that they do. They will respond to because of the pains they carry. And sometimes it makes someone have an overview of all men, assuming that, because if it's a lady, assumes that all men are that way. If it's a man, he assumes all women are this way, just because of the pain. So to help the person heal from what they went through is important. They go through a counselor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Charity.
My view wouldn't be very different from what Pastor Dominic has said.
Okay.
Somebody might ask, in the event that I do not know any counselor, what do I do? It is good to share your pain with someone you are close to, somebody you trust. At least just get somebody to listen to what you have gone through. In so doing, you allow the pain you share your pain. And by sharing that pain, you lessen the burden on yourself. And reason why we insist and say, do not move from one relationship and go straight into another.
Okay.
Emotional pain will scar you just like physical pain would.
Okay.
And therefore, because you have cried, you have been hurt, it is only fair to yourself that you allow yourself a little time and re-evaluate yourself, see where the mistake might have been. Even if a big portion of the mistakes or what contributed to the breakup was from the other party, I always say there's nobody who is very innocent. Yeah, sometimes we allow ourselves go through pain and imagine you'll apportion pain on your partner. The fact that you allowed yourself get close or mingle or get married to a man who is an abuser is reason enough for you to forgive yourself. So you start off by actually not apportioning blame to the other party. Look at yourself first.
Yeah.
And see where you might have gone wrong. Correct it so that when you move into the other relationship, you use the pain from your previous relationship as the foundation to your new relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's a risk that if that is not done as a way of influencing your decisions and your behavior even as you move into the next relationship? Do you think?
Yes, it does. Because look at it. If you carry a lot of pain from your previous relationship, that is what you're going to give to the new relationship. Okay? If you have trust issues from your previous relationship, you'll move with the same trust issues into the new relationship.
Okay.
Where you'll find that you want to blame your new partner for things that they have not really, you are reacting differently based on what you went through. When you're supposed to be sober and look at this new person as independent and as new and clean as your new relationship is. So it is very important for you to let go of your past. Understand that I do not need this pain in my new relationship. Because if you don't handle it, definitely, like it is usually said, you will bleed on somebody who did not hurt you.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have something to add on that? So I think we can be able to proceed now to our discussion today. And today we are looking at the parent factor in a relationship or in a marriage. The parent factor in a relationship or a marriage. Maybe just to lay some background, this is something that I'm so, involved to some extent, that it's as though the influence of parents, especially on their daughters-in-law, is so much that sometimes you think they are looking for an opportunity to choose a wife for their sons. I don't know, Charity, if you can paint for us a picture. How was it previously? You're a bit older than all of us. Like, how was it previously? And why do you think that mothers always don't like their daughters-in-law? And whether you love your daughters-in-law, maybe you can also talk to us from that perspective.
I have one daughter-in-law.
Okay.
And unless she's in class, I know she watches. And I love that girl very much.
Okay.
I love my daughter-in-law with all my heart. And for me, she's just my daughter.
Okay.
She is my eldest child.
Mhm.
Because she's married to my firstborn. She's equally my firstborn daughter. And she knows it. I don't know whether there's anything special I did or I'm just lucky. I don't know. But back to the question. Yes, it's true. We have a lot of issues between mothers-in-law and their daughters-in-law. And usually, I like looking at it from a position of misplaced or unrealistic expectations from each party. And in cases where a mother-in-law understands her role in her daughter-in-law's life, then usually there's very little interference. In most cases, there's just support.
Okay.
I come from a family where I haven't seen so much conflict between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. And maybe that has influenced my approach towards my daughter-in-law. My own mother has a rule, and she says, you cannot bring somebody's daughter to my home and mistreat them in my home. See, that is a rule in our home.
Okay.
So my brothers know when your wife is here, she's here to live happily and not cry in this home. Because in this home, we welcomed her. This is her home, and you cannot be the reason somebody's child comes to suffer. I had a grandmother that I knew. I remember my uncle's wife did not have a kitchen of her own. And anytime we'd go to Kuku's place,
Okay.
she would still cook with her mother-in-law for very many years. Maybe that foundation helped me realize that, you see, a daughter-in-law is not your enemy. A daughter-in-law is just a child that God has blessed you with in your old age. That is how I consider them. I tell my daughter-in-law, you're my daughter, that God blessed me in old age. I tell my son-in-law that. And that is how I live. But that does not mean that is the standard.
Okay.
Majority of people have issues with their daughters-in-law and mothers-in-law. A mother-in-law has some expectations of who she thinks her son should marry. And in the event that the son does not marry what she thinks fits her, then that is now where the issues come in. This girl comes, is like this. I don't like this about her. I don't like her family. I don't like maybe the way she dresses. I don't like the way she behaves. And therefore, I feel this is not, she's not fit for my son. But then, I always tell mothers that, you see, you cannot give your son what he gets from his wife. In the event that you think your son is making a mistake, please raise those concerns before your son marries. Talk to your child and tell your son, as much as this girl is who you want to marry, but I have some reservations, and this is 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
If that can be resolved, then give them time, their children, and understand that they'll grow. However, in the event that a mother senses danger in her son's life by danger from the type of wife that he's marrying, take it from me, a mother will resist. Because you see, you are just a mother, just a mother. She's not going to change because you're 40 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case there's danger in her son's life, and a mother realizes that this girl would be the cause or reason of my son ending up in trouble, then that would be a case where even me, I would resist. Yes. But understanding, dialogue, raising concerns where you think you have questions is key. But above all, it is just fair that you allow your son to choose a woman that he really wants to stay with. You can only guide.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can only guide and pray very hard that actually your son lands on a woman who is very supportive and can make a good wife.
Okay. Pastor Dominic, are you alive to this fact? And maybe I would ask you, or whether you think that this is a matter that affects the people you've talked to, or maybe even the members that you pastor.
I want to take a different perspective from what she has said.
So you
And
guys
for
are going
me-
opposite. Okay.
For me, I feel
Yes.
it is failed upbringing. There are good traditions and bad traditions. In those days when we were growing up, after circumcision, your father will tell you, now from today, that's where you're going to build your house. The houses we used to call Simba. Then your father, if he finds you in the kitchen, he will be like, let me not find you. Why are you always around your mother? Why are you always around the kitchen?
Yeah.
People can view it as being a chauvinist, but listen to me. It is the correct upbringing. Why? The father is trying to make this young man understand his responsibility as a man, so that this young man now can start living his own life and making his own decision. A young man who understands himself and knows the responsibility he has, he will be able to control that relationship between him and the wife and the mother. So it is a failed upbringing that is making us raise boys instead of raising men. So we don't have young men who can make decisions, and therefore they are depending on their mother. It is a failed part of men in society to be able to raise men who can be able to fend for themselves. So now the mother realizes that this my son cannot be able to make decisions in his family, and the mother feels maybe the wife is overriding or making decisions on behalf of his son. So the mother will now come in to put things in order. Why? Because the young man cannot make decisions. Now let me give you a scripture. What I always, when we are doing premarital counseling, we call it the law of departure. It says, now the man shall leave the parents. Now the woman shall leave the parents. And the two of them shall come together to become one. Parents advise. Parents should never make decisions for the couple. You get advice from parents, but no decisions. I've seen a woman who enters the son's house and checks even the bedroom, checks, how did you lay the bed? Is it correct? Comes to test the food. Did you cook correctly? You see, that one means now this person is still having control over. The law is not there. If the mother realizes this lady is not doing it right, can he be able to talk to the son so that the son can be able to put his own house in order? So it is a fair responsibility of us men in society in raising young men who can be responsible enough, who can be able to talk to their mother and tell them, Mom, I love you, I respect you, but please don't interfere with my house. I know what to do. If a young man can be able to talk to the mother direct like that, the mother will respect. But if your mother is telling you, before you do anything, you are calling back home, Mom, I wanted to buy a plot. No, you can't buy a plot now. Buy a car first. Or you say, Mom, I want to buy a car. Maybe you want to do business with a car. But according to her, she feels this is not the right thing for you. This is what you should. Are you able to make decisions? If you can't and you keep asking, she will come into control.
Okay.
So men should be men.
Okay.
And not boys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Now, Church, I will ask you a question. What do you think are some of these? I'm assuming you and Mulamwa,
Yes.
you're living together. What are some of these behaviors you think are transferred or transferable to children by simply observation? The things they look at parents doing that has a way of leaking into their union in marriage. Or in simpler words, I'm asking, what do you think are the good behavior of a parent and the bad behaviors of parents? How do they affect their children even as they move into marriage?
Yeah, thank you. Behavior is what you acquire by either association, assimilation, or whatever. So if it is something positive, how a girl was brought up in her home, how she was taught how to speak, respect herself, relate with other people, not just her husband, relate with other people in her own home, has a very big impact on how she's going to behave or talk to you when she gets married. How her own mother
Mm.
lives has a very big role in influencing how she's going to move into her new home.
Okay.
In the event that it is negative
Mm.
in her own home,
Mm.
in her mother's home,
Mm.
I have talked it here. Anytime any human being goes through trauma, you come out either as a victim or a survivor.
Mhm.
When you are a victim of your past,
Mm.
you carry the negativity that comes from your past,
Mhm.
and they make you you carry the trauma onto your next life. When you are a survivor of a trauma, you beat the odds and you say, I do not want to be what my mother was. You seek the alternative or the opposite of the trauma that you went through, and that makes you a better person in life.
Mm.
So yes, your own upbringing plays a major role in who you're going to be in future, by either choosing to either survive the trauma that you went through or be a victim of your trauma. In so doing, if you survive, you'll be a very positive person. If you are a victim, then you will carry, or even it might be worse, and that will affect your future.
Mm.
Just like what Pastor was saying, there was nothing very different from what he was saying. He wants to differ with me.
Mm.
I think he was only complimenting or expounding on what I'd said.
Yeah.
Yes.
In life, we only give what we have.
Thank you.
So, if it is virtues that have been taught as you are growing up, that is what you will give.
Mhm.
If it is slander and blackmail, backstabbing, gossip, hate, that is what you're going to give.
To give.
Because you're not going to learn how to love if that is what you have been given. If you are given hate and you came out of a home that is full of disagreements, fights, and all that, you will be very lucky to survive that. Okay?
Mhm.
If you intentionally now say, this is not right and I don't like it, trust me, you will come out of it and everybody will say, this one was born in a certain home. But
Okay.
now see what has happened.
Mm.
Because you made a decision along the way by realizing this is not good, I do not want this type of life, and change. But if you don't do that, you will carry that to your next life. And that's why somebody was saying that some traumas are what? Are inherited. You see, you can inherit something unknowingly. Because you see, that is just what you think life is all about. Unafikiri dunia yote inafanana hivyo. Because wewe umekuzwa hivyo. And in relation to what we are talking about,
Yeah.
if you see your own mother fighting your grandmother, you would want to imagine there's nothing much a mother-in-law can give. But on the other side, I know there's so much a daughter-in-law can learn from a mother-in-law and get support. That mother-in-law who has a lot of influence on my son.
Okay.
I have two sons. Actually, I have a lot of influence on them by maybe design or default, I don't know. But it is because I brought them up. So very often, they will refer to mom. But that does not mean that because they are very close to me, then I condone nonsense and make them babies instead of men.
Mhm.
I always tell them, you might have missed something along the way because at one point you are only seeing mom. But please, do not be that man that you know put your mother in this situation. If you are to stay with a woman, please make sure you do not do anything you would want somebody to do to your mother, to your sister, or any other female that you know in your society.
Okay.
So by so doing, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, I was telling them, please, as you move on and get married, do not hurt the woman that you bring in your life. If you know something will make mom happy, try and do it do it for your wife. If you know respecting mom is the good thing, just respect your wife. In so doing, I think my son is actually 7 years now in marriage, and the little I have been able to give hasn't given me any opportunity to complain about my daughter-in-law. And my daughter-in-law equally has looked at me, and she would want to ask. The pastor was saying, I was using an example that you want to buy a house, or you want to put up a house, or you want to buy a car. My son bought a car, and I was of the view that he should have put up a house instead. Okay? It is just, this is a real example.
Okay.
He was talking and I remember. So my daughter-in-law did not call me, but my son called me and told me, hey mama, nanyeshewa. Okay, he did not actually tell me he was having a motorbike. So he told me anytime I go to work, I get rained on and all that. I was just thinking, I think I need a car. So I was like, why do you need a car? I thought you should build a house first. No, jokingly. But then he told me, you know, ma'am, a car is a necessity. I do not stay at home. If I build a house, I'll come and sleep in that house maybe once or twice in a year. But then, every time I go to the office, I get to the office, I'm wet, niko kwa pikipiki, I'm late. I think I would need a car more than I would need a house as at now. I am going to build this, but I think I need a car now because it will be convenient for me to drive to work and be rained on. What happened? That was not an issue. I said it is okay, and he ended up buying his car. So, as much as my son would consult me as a mother, I do not insist that things have to be done my way. Okay? I can listen. I can give in my view. And like you notice, this is a discussion. When I say, but I thought this would be better, then he told me, fine, that is so good.
Okay.
But in my view, this is what I think and why I think I have to reach where I have to do this as at now. So it is the way you organize yourself as a family, the way you people live. If you respect each other and you are very accommodative, I do not see where the problem would come in when my daughter-in-law has a different view from what we actually would do. As long as it's something acceptable and it is not hurting anybody, why not? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Pastor Dominic?
Yeah, Pastor, I want to let everyone know that parents have a very big influence on their kids.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it doesn't start when they are in marriage. It starts even before. There are women who have gone through trauma with their husbands, and they always keep telling their daughters what their father do. That's why I'll request that ladies who are married, always speak good of your husband. That is their father. So that this girl does not grow knowing that, men should be dealt with this way. You see your father? When you reach there, usifanye mchezo na mwanaume. Akikuletea, we kataze. Unaona vile mimi nakatazanga baba yako. So the girl is growing with a character that men, to deal with men, when they talk, you talk. When they say, you say. Because if you keep quiet, watakunyanyasa. They will finish you. So the influence doesn't start in marriage. It starts before marriage. And there are these men that will take their boys out and tell them, women are nobody. You cannot allow a woman to tell you anything. As a man, you see, when I enter my house, you see your mother running around? That is how it should be. So it's an influence. And because he's a figure, he's a mentor, this enters the mind of the young man. So when he gets in marriage, he doesn't need to call the father. The influence of the father comes with him in marriage. Then he starts to manifest what the father was manifesting, which was negative. Now you see, this influence is not just that they call. No. It starts all the way before marriage. So you see very wicked men, some of them, they draw their character from their father, negative from their father. Maybe they also saw a mother who was always absent, and the father did all. So the father didn't take time to advise and tell them the good of the mother. He just took time telling them of the bad of the mother. So when the man marries now, he knows these women can leave anytime. You see how my father suffered? So I don't have to be very serious in this relationship. They can leave. Anytime they have an argument with the lady, he say, if you want to leave, leave. Because after all, my father raised us without our mother. So you see the perspective. Intentionally, ladies, even if your husband is not providing enough, remind your children that your father gave, even if he didn't give. I'm not saying men should be lazy, but there is something you are developing in your children. Even if the money is yours, let the children know that their father. Some women, Pastor, let me just add something before you come in. You can be sending your wife money to pay school fees, but he will never tell the children you are the one paying.
Oh.
Are you seeing the influence?
Okay.
So the kids now say, Mom came to school, Mom paid fees, Mom bought clothes, Mom. Intentionally tell your children, your father sent money for me to buy for you this clothing. Intentionally tell your children, your father sent money that have paid school fees. Because you, as a man, you're doing it. The kids just know, Mom. So they carry the same mindset that men are these people when they come in the compound, everything is bad. So a lady, when he gets married, she's already resisting. She has a wall developed so that in case he behaves like my father, this is how I shall respond. Are you now seeing?
Do you think now, like especially our generation, that parents realize that besides just being parents, they have a mentorship role to their children? Do you think they realize that?
They don't. You know why? They are not mentored. We are having a society that the young parents today, as Charity will say, they are not mentored. So they are carrying the same.
They have nothing to give as well.
They have nothing to give. And someone is saying, and millennials, I want to talk to millennials because I'm one. Millennials, we used to walk to go to school. And now millennials are saying, because I walk to go into school, I suffered, my child will not suffer. My child will not go through this. Listen to me. Give some room for responsibility on those children. Because if you don't, you are raising a responsible society. That's why today you will hear girls complain in church, man of God, because we are pastors. You hear ladies complain, Daddy, there are no people to marry us here. These guys are not serious. They're not responsible. We have raised boys with papers, degrees, and certificates, but no form of responsibility. Now, the influence begins from when they are growing up, even into marriage.
Maybe if I would ask you, maybe Charity, like, what do you think? Because you mentioned something about, like, this is how we were brought up. I'd want to bring my children up in the same way.
Yes.
What do you think would amount to what the Generation Z will say that it's an abuse or maybe interference with our rights? What do you think? What amounts to abuse of their rights, and what amounts to mentorship?
You see, Pastor, there's something very confusing. There's something that confuses this current generation. We really jump at the word rights, not knowing that, like they say, where your rights stop is where somebody else's right begins. So I don't know what those rights are. I'm a strong believer in life being very basic. Life is very simple. If you complicate it with your education, there are consequences. If you complicate it with your finances because you have a lot of money, there are consequences. So come back to it. If you complicate it with what you think are your rights, then you'll have very many consequences. I personally don't know what rights are because maybe I was brought up where those rights were so automatic, I did not need to fight for anything. As a woman, I have never had to fight to be heard because a man is stepping on me. I was taught to behave in a certain manner, to acquire certain status, that when I pass in a place, I command authority. I will get the respect that man has to give me. Nobody will tell me, hutaongea mbele yangu kwa sababu wewe ni mwanamke. I'll open my mouth to speak and the men will listen to me. That is how I was brought up. So I have never personally struggled with things of rights. I don't understand what people keep on asking. Oh, this is my right. I have a right in this house. I have to do. If you have a right in your own house, Do you need to mention? The moment
If you don't mention, how would they know you
no,
have a right
the
over it?
moment you begin mentioning, it begins. You're just trying to emphasize something. It is not there.
Just as Charity is saying, sorry, just to cut
Mm,
in.
yeah.
Any
Just,
man who is saying in the house, I am the man of this house, he lost the position.
lost it.
He lost. When you
Yes.
have to remind your wife, you know,
you're
I'm
the
the
man.
husband. My friend.
Why you have a problem?
Continue, madam.
Yeah. So whoever is talking about
There was
rights,
someone last week who
maybe
said
if-
that I'm
if-
the man.
Yeah.
He lost it.
If they broke it down, then I would understand the question. But as it is for now, I don't understand what these rights were, what they are. If it's a matter of going to school, I'm not my grandmother who failed to go to school and her two brothers went to school very well. Because those days, that was what was happening. Currently, you're a millennial, you are a Gen Z, and you're still talking about rights. What rights are these that you're talking about? I don't understand. If it is matters marriage, what are these rights that you want to talk about? A right to be provided for? I thought it was automatic. That when you get married and you have a partner who is a husband, one of his roles is to provide. And as he provides, for you woman who is saying, you know, I went to school, I've come from work just the way you have come from work. Yours is now to submit.
Thank you.
Now, where are these rights coming from? These are roles that people are that confusing, and they start up and say, these are my rights. You know, let whoever talked about those rights break them down. Then I'll be able to understand.
Okay.
But as it is, as for now, I agree. I can score a 0. Because I believe currently,
Based on who is marking that script.
yeah, based on who is marking it, I can score a 0 and I'm very comfortable with it.
Okay.
Can I
But
just-
currently, the year 2025, I think current situations are very different from what happened in the year 1900. So let us just look at what we are having now, because modern problems require modern solutions. So
As someone who is Selena is arguing the point right now. She's saying, I think it is a reaction on what you say, that if it is the woman who is supposed, I've seen this happen just for women doing it to boost the morale of men. You go to a hotel, the man doesn't have money, and she would secretly give you the money so that you can pay. So she's saying, just say the truth. I'm the one who is paying, not your father, and it will set you free. I don't know whether that is correct.
we talked about communication. But I've come to realize that personally, I look at our episodes as continuations.
Yeah.
So whoever listened to episode 1, as we have continued building up, might understand that using that example, it just means this couple, either they really understand each other and they have agreed that in the event that things are not okay on my husband's side, I can come in. But then I'm asking myself, why would you wait to pass the money below the table? Why did you wait for him to get there? You knew you were going out.
You did communicate then.
You didn't communicate then. And he was telling, as much as you want us to go out for dinner, I think I just have 200 shillings. I don't have any money. Say, I wait 22. Then we get to the restaurant, and then now you're slipping the money under the table. Why couldn't you do it earlier?
Oh, that's not wisdom?
I mean,
No, you didn't talk about it.
you didn't talk about
There's
it.
a problem
Because
with
you
communication.
see, if I have the cash and I need to pass it under the table so that you pay the bill, I can as well just pay the bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Pastor, on the same, me, I have made it this way with my wife. She carries money always when I'm with her. From the house, what we need is what you need. You carry the money. You pay the border, everything, she has to do it. But when she's sitting with the kids, she always says, we thank God for your father. Are you seeing? As much as they are seeing her do all these things, but she's reminding the kids, we thank God
It's your
for
daddy.
your father. For a woman, you will not need to beat your own trumpet. Kids know you do.
Okay.
But for us men, because we are not always with the kids, the woman has to be intentional so that it creates that. Now, the issue of rights, I
Okay.
think that is where the society overdid it. Anytime the rights are interfering with the scripture, for me, I will remain with the scripture. Anytime the rights, because marriage, the foundation of marriage is God. So when you're making the woman be equal with the man, then it's not scriptural. Then you talk about, as a right. And for example, the children, that's where we have problem. I always tell people, in my house, when I enter, I'm the one in charge of the television, as simple as it is. I always tell my kids, when you grow up, you have your own television. You can watch channels that you want. But for now, when I come, I'll watch what I want if I have one television in the house. And they know it. If they want to change, they'll just come and say, Daddy, can we change? Can we watch this? And most of the time, I'll be like, go ahead and do what you want to do. Okay. But they have learned it that way. So if you raise up your child in a way as a woman, you're telling her, a man should not joke with you. We have rights as women. I want you to go to school, get that degree, so that the man will not bring you down. Are you seeing the intention of taking the child to school? So the child goes to school with this mind. I want to get my own job, as my mom said, so that no man can play with me. So the lady is going to school with the wrong intention. Not that the money will be a blessing to the marriage, but she's going so that she can show the man that she can provide. So because of the influence of the mother, we have problems today.
Just before we proceed, there's a question that I was dealing with recently.
Yes.
Now, we're still on that part of intentional mentorship by parents to their children.
Yes.
How do you think you as a father, how you treat your daughter, does it have impact on her, on how she will relate with men out there?
Very big. I will talk as a father, and I do it intentionally. I always tell fathers, once in a while, occasionally, just embrace your daughter. Just embrace your daughter.
I think it was traditionally a taboo. Maybe Charity will tell us whether she has ever hugged the father.
She will talk about it. You intentionally hug her. Give her confidence. Talk to her face to face. It gives her confidence. Even when she goes out, she meets other men, the confidence will be there. She doesn't see men as lions. You don't appear to your daughter, she sees she runs in the kitchen. So when she goes to meet men, she has a wrong perspective of who men are. I have my day off with my daughter just to sit her down and tell her who men are. Who men are. What are the expectations? Are you seeing? So as a father, the way you treat their mother, it is very important because that's how she will now start perceiving how men are. One day my daughter wrote a letter to me. I've never forgotten. She was in Form 2. And the words that I really remember, even up to today, and they touch my heart, she said, when I grow up and I get married, I will want to have a husband just like you. Are you looking? I have kept that letter as a souvenir because she sees the way I treat the mother. So when she goes in marriage, I always tell my kids, if they enter the home where parents are fighting, I think it will look strange to them. It will be shocking. So she has this picture of who her husband is. So she will not get in married with wrong expectations. But because now a lady is coming from a home where their father is the lion of the tribe of their village, now she feels anything the man will try to do, she will imagine the way my father used to deal with my mom. This is what this man wants to do. Maybe just the man is raising a voice a bit to say, I don't like the way you're behaving. The lady now will remember, the last time a man talked like this, he slapped my mother. So she will be defensive, quickly defensive. Why? She is from the background. She knows when a man speaks like this, he's going to fight me, which is not the true thing. Now, are you seeing how the influence from the parents is affecting them?
Yeah.
It breaks marriage.
Awesome. Yes. We have some few people that are joining us already.
Let me just say something.
Sorry.
Okay.
On the issue of father role in daughter's life, hugging is very modern. That is a very modern way of doing it. For those who do it well, it is okay. I personally don't get hugs from my sons. Okay. But I can tell you they love me very much. They don't. Nobody has stopped them. But I think there is just that but the real hug is not there. But I know of some families that do it. And well, that is their own. But what am I saying? A father must just be present in a child's life. If you're a man out here who has a child and you're not present in that child's life, let there be a father figure present in your child's life.
Thank you.
Pastor has talked about provision. Unfortunately, we have abdicated the man's role in the family, in the financial provision of the family. Pastor has just said, I give mama money, they'll buy this, and the children do not know that I'm giving. Please, men, make sure that you have quality time with your children, be it male or female. Have the money, very important, but above all, have your time. Let your children have your time. My father is still alive and he's 80-something. And he is also polygamous. But this is what my father used to do. That on the eve of opening day, he would be home. He would sit us down. So you're going to school tomorrow. He would sit us down, all of us, and tell us what his visions are. In fact, my father's nickname is Degree. That is my father's nickname. Because he would tell us then, I want all of you to go to school and each one of you must get a degree.
Okay.
He was a public figure and he would go away. But we would know that on the eve of opening day, Dad would be home. And with his salary, even if Mom was doing whatever she was doing, Dad would always pay. He would always give his money. I remember my father going to Shylock's. There was a Muindi in this town called Madatali, and he would take to him his passbook or bank. It was the equivalent of a bank plate. He would borrow money from a Shylock to take us to school.
Okay.
I went to high school in a school called Matuga. Matuga is in Kwale. My father had never been to Coast Province, but because I was supposed to go to my Form 5, I was admitted. I was in a school here. Then in Form 5 and Form 6, I went to Matuga. My father put on a suit, his best suit, and he traveled by coast bus. So you can imagine a suit na sanduku ya mabati, and we get to Mombasa in the morning. By the time we are getting to Matuga Girls, it was 3. But my father still had his suit and tie. To this day, I can never go to my child's school in any dress that is torn or something. I'll make sure I dress well. I look presentable in the eyes of my children so that when they see me, they get encouraged. And that is what the role of a parent is.
Okay.
So for the men who are out here, please do not just give the money. Give your time too. Because that is what your children learn. And for me growing up, if a man would do the right thing for my child as concerns academics, that one is
Okay.
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 You see now what how the influence of a parent. Now that is what my father influenced me, that he would make sure that we are in school, even if with his little money. My sister's story would be worse. I don't need to say it here, but she's a pastor also, so she keeps telling them. And she says anytime she remembers that my father walked with a cow from Kibabi to town, and then people refused to buy that cow because it was very, frail, and the cow decided to run off to go towards Ekitale, and she had to walk all the way this other side and back to Kibabi with that cow because he was trying to raise fish for her. What does my sister do? She tells us she will go to that boutique and pick the most expensive suit and bring it to my father. And that is the influence of a parent in a child's life. In so doing, your child will also try to take their children to school.
Yeah.
In so doing, if you are an abuser and your child does not heal, your child will abuse the other people.
other person, yeah.
So as parents, we have a major role to play in the way we mold our children's life. And for fathers, don't just give the money. Give your time. Your time will be appreciated. For me, that time when my father would come on the eve of opening day has always been key. It has never gone away. And it's passed on. I passed the same thing to my children, and my children are now doing it to their children. Okay? Sawa.
So like what we agree, or I don't know whether you'll agree with me then, is that most parents don't realize the mentorship part of what they are doing.
Yes.
Like a case scenario of parents who work. Maybe you come from work and everyone takes the phone, and they are seated, and a child has never seen you hold your wife's hand. A child has never seen you embrace your wife.
Yes.
Does it also affect the way they relate with their partners in the future?
We agree with you. I think, Charity.
Okay.
I think for the first time we will agree with you totally.
Whether the first or second time?
We'll agree with you totally because I have done child psychology as a teacher. I think you know I'm a teacher first. And then children are like, what do we call it, sponge. They absorb. Yeah. Children absorb more. They take, what do we call it, the things which are not verbal have more influence on your children than the things which are verbal. The non-verbal communication or mentorship sometimes has a bigger influence. What I mean is what you have just said, is that one day the children just see you holding your spouse's hands. And my kids are very funny. They will laugh and jump up and do all manner of things. I was sharing one day when I just came with maize, and I just reached my house and my wife was sitting on the kids, and then they say, let's welcome our father, and I entered and I knelt down and I removed maize from the bag and I just broke it up and I gave my wife on the knees. At this age, do you know kids had to take the pictures and it was a big thing, and I just embraced her and I told her, if I'm going to, there's an opportunity to marry, I'll marry you again. And the kids were so excited. I was not just doing it for my wife, I was also doing it for my children. These are pictures that are replayed in their minds. When they get married, if he's a man, he will remember what the father used to do. You see these guys who are in marriage, and it's like they are feelingless. You think they're
in prison.
Yeah. It's not about them. It's the upbringing.
Really?
They are just there. They don't bring a gift. They don't bring anything. And to them, they are okay. By the way, if you talk to those guys, they think they are okay. They think there is nothing wrong. And you bring a gift to your wife, you say, yo, mchezo wa wachiba.